Ottawa announced a $2 billion per year graduated series of salary top-ups and incentives last week for the Canadian military. It's aimed at providing some much-needed support for the lowest-ranking positions who are struggling in the face of rising costs of living, up to a 20% raise for some of the lowest-ranking members. Debbie Lowther is with Vets Canada, a charity that supports military members. Ms. Lowther, we haven't seen a restructuring of military salaries in this country for a long time. I gather you like these changes?
I do. Long overdue, that's for sure. But I think it's great news, and I'm happy that the lower ranks will get, the greatest increase or greatest percentage increase, because they are the ones that are struggling the most. So I think that's a good way that they've laid it out. Of course, the devil is always in the details, but from what I've heard, everything sounds quite positive.
Okay, I know people think of your organization as helping vets, but I understand active members who are struggling as well are calling you, reaching out for help. What are they saying?
Yeah, so we do have a number of still serving members on our caseload right now, and a lot like the lower ranks, so privates, corporals, and they are just not being able to make ends meet. It's a choice they're making every month. Do I pay my rent or do I feed myself? So it's, this pay raise is really going to help them. But yeah, we are seeing an increase in serving members, which is quite sad.
Yeah, I know there's a food pantry for military members in Dartmouth. The military members, some members at least, are accessing. What are you seeing in terms of demand there compared to recent years?
Yeah, so we actually just launched the food pantry in March. And so we're slowly increasing our numbers of veterans that are accessing the food pantry. But about a month ago, I sent an email over to CFB Halifax, basically letting them know about the food pantry. And within the next 2 weeks, we've got 5 clients who are accessing the food pantry that are still serving. So, I think that really demonstrates how they're struggling.
And so what is your understanding about what's leading to that sort of increased or widespread need for the service?
Well, I think it's just, the affordability crisis that we're all experiencing right now. It's really difficult to feed yourself. And I think it's, years ago, we would think of a private joining the military as, probably somebody maybe only 18, 19. But we're seeing older people start to join. So, a couple of the people that are accessing our food pantry are, privates, corporals, but they're not, fresh out of high school, basically. They are adults, like, late 20s, early 30s. So, it's hard if you have, especially if you have a family. And I know the salaries right now are, I don't think they're barely a living wage, I would say.
And so how much do you think this pay raise will help? In some cases, it could mean a 20% increase.
Oh yeah, I think it will be wonderful. Um, you know, it, I think right now a private starting out in the military makes about, I don't know, high 30,000s. And, to me, that's just absurd. Somebody that's willing to put their life on the line for their country and, being paid peanuts and having to access a food pantry is unacceptable, in my opinion. So the increase is really going to help those folks.
How much would it help vets, this pay increase? I gather it may not help much at all. And in terms of restructuring of pay and benefits, since we're talking about that, what kind of restructuring do you want to see for them, the vets?
Well, I would say there's some of the benefits that veterans can get from Veterans Affairs are based on pre-release income. So I think that's how that will help folks getting out now, because their pre-release income will be higher, so their benefits will be higher on the other end. So that's where I see it helping veterans.
And what about veterans who are on disability? They've wondered whether they'll automatically get the raise. I mean, how much do you know about how complicated this will be, or does it just show up?
Yeah, I think it could be complicated, but I'm not sure what the plan is for, disability benefits. I'm not really sure at all what the
Yeah.
plan is.
Well, like you said, we're learning all about this as we go along. Devil in the details for sure. And we'll see where it does go from here. Debbie Lowther of Vets Canada, thank you very much.
Thank you.